Cambridge English exams have been around for what seems like forever, and occasionally they change. The last big change was in 2008. Next year, in 2015, there are a lot more changes. I'm here today to tell you about the top 10 changes in the Cambridge First Certificate exam in English. Number 1, the exam is shorter. It used to be 4 hours, now it's only going to be 3.5 hours long. Two, the reading and use of English papers have been combined into one big paper. It has 7 parts and you have an hour and a quarter to complete everything. There used to be 72 questions for these 2 papers, but in the new exam there'll only be 52 questions, so it's not so bad. You'll still have to work very quickly. 3. In the current First Certificate English, the first paper is the reading and the second paper is use of English. Now that they've been combined, you need to watch out. The use of English part comes first. 4. In the writing paper, in part 1, you don't write a letter anymore, it's an essay. That's the compulsory task for FCE and FCE for schools. 5. There are a couple of little changes with the writing tasks for part 2. If you're taking the full FCE, you have a report as an option. If you're taking FCE for schools, you can do the story, but otherwise not. 6. The number of words that you have to write has changed. In both parts now, in part 1 and in part 2, you have to write from 140 to 190 words. It's no longer the case that part 1 is the shorter version. 7. It's not a big change. In the listening paper, in part 1, the examiner won't read out all of the different options anymore. Now in the past, for each question, the options would be read out to you before you heard any speaker. That's not going to be the case anymore, so you need to be aware of that. When you start the listening paper, read through the options very quickly so that you know what's coming up next. 8. In the speaking test, in part 2, at the end of the individual long turn, when you have the chance to respond to your partner, you now get 30 seconds, not 20. Those 10 seconds make a big difference. Now the interlocutor will ask you why or why not when they ask you their follow-up question. You've got a chance to speak a little bit more, so make sure that you listen to your partner. 9. In the speaking paper in part 3, when you have the collaborative task with a partner, now the pictures have all been replaced by text. It's only writing, nothing pretty to look at anymore. And finally, number 10. In the speaking paper, part 3, when you have to talk to your partner about a topic together and come to a decision, well, my students have always found this to be a bit problematical. They'd start talking and at the end of the 3 minutes they'd still be thinking about making a decision. That's now changed. You get 2 minutes to talk about the different aspects of the problem, then the interlocutor will give you 1 more minute to actually come to a decision, to kind of summarise everything overall. And I think this will make it a lot easier to complete the task. And that's it. Those are the top 10 changes to the Cambridge First Certificate exam in English coming in 2015.